All right, fellas, so let's talk about gap scheme, but let's not just talk about it. Let's dive so deep into it. Let's get to the details, to the structure, to the footwork, to the approach and everything else, right? So one thing that we have to understand first, gap scheme will force us to use our help all the time, right? Meaning, you know, we have the Sam. Sorry about that. Let me just make sure I can dry it up. We have the Sam, we have the Mike, and we have the Will, right? So just understanding what the help is. So Sam usually is outside in. Obviously traditional, it could be something else. The mic is inside out, and the wheel is outside in. This is traditionally how we do things, right? So right now we have to understand, the first thing we have to understand is the coverage. Because since it's zone, we have this guy here with us. Let's say this was man, he will be here. That means we'll both become Bucks players. I'll get to it at the end, right? So understanding that we have him, he's playing that alley, the safety's playing this alley. That means the mic could spill it, right? He could make sure he's standing outside to the Sam linebacker to be able to make a play, right? So that's the first thing that we have to understand. So let's watch the view, the end zone, right? Let's watch the end zone and let's get a better understanding of what gap scheme and how we can get better, right? So the first thing we're gonna look is, let's pay attention to the guy that his guard is pulling. Right. So first thing we need to understand is whenever there's a gap scheme, as linebackers, we have to abandon the gap. That means that we don't have the gap that you had pre-snap. You don't have that gap anymore. Right. So you have to understand that is that whole thing. And then the reason why you have to understand, and you can see it here. Let's watch number 8. Right. We're watching number 8. Let's say he has the A gap. Right. The second he pulls, where's the A gap? 92 has it. So he has to follow his guard. He has to follow the puller. So his job right here will always be to follow the puller. He's gonna have to follow the puller to make sure he gets on the other side. As he's getting there, what is he gonna see? And let's talk about this, right? So as he's getting over the top, depending on the front, right, depending on where those D lines are lined up, whoever is uncovered will come block you, right? So right now, he's the uncovered guy. Right, so he's gonna come, and we call this a pin block. And I always say this is probably one of the hardest block in football as a linebacker, because you have to get over the top of that one. Right, you see, he already has the leverage. The one thing that you want to do, first thing, the one thing you want to do is your footwork. Right, your eyes, you see what you wanted to see. You saw the pull. The next thing is you want to stay in a shuffle. Right, you want to stay in a shuffle. You don't want to get in the crossover, you want to stay in shuffle. And the next thing, you want to also stay at depth, because the more you creep in, that's when you're going to get beat. Right? If you keep creeping in, that's when you're going to get beat. So you want to stay at depth. Right now, this is not a bad job. You know, it's not a bad job at all. You should maybe come a little faster with more urgency, but it's not a bad job. So here, very important. Watch this. Block shedding, right? We preach so much about block shedding. The ability to create plays for yourself, right? Super important. So look what number 8 does. Very good. 10 out of 10, right? The reason, and he's involved in the tackle, which is good. So what he does is hands and feet. One thing I say all the time is you need to defeat blocks with your feet. Your feet are very important, and your hands too. And when I talk a lot about hands, I talk about what? Grabbing, pulling. The pull is always more important than the push. But what you want to do here to get yourself over the top, you want to push on this outside shoulder, which is the left shoulder of the blocker, and you want to pull. I know it's going to be very hard to see the pull, but look at the fullback's head. You see how he dipped down? That tells me that he did a good job. So, but the next thing, pay attention to the feet. Right? You gotta work your feet, and I call that skate technique. Skate, 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 skate. Skate your feet, get yourself over the top, make sure you get on the rib. So this is a very good job for number 8. I think maybe the one thing he could have done a little bit differently would be to still stay at depth, but that was good. I think there's nothing to do. This was very good. Good hands, power arm, pull arm, feet, skate them, skate, skate, skate. Get yourself around, but you gotta work both. Now let's talk about the mic. Let's talk about the mic, because he's also on the play, and he does a good job, right? So, I mean, let's talk about it. I think he does a good job. I think he could do a better job again. So when you are the one that received the puller, same thing, you got to abandon your gap. So let's say right now you had the C gap or you had the A gap, whichever gap you had pre-snap, abandon it because there's a pull. So you have to be able to work together. Number 8's got to yell pull, 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 guard, 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 whatever it is. And number 6 got to get active. The one thing you need to do, that's the time for you to be downhill, right? You want to ear hole. You want to make sure that you come downhill and you set the tone. Right now, I think it could have spilled based on the coverage because we have this dude right here, right? The Sam coming in. So he should have spilled. You see he's using his shoulder, right? He's using his shoulder. And let's get to the tighter view. He's using his shoulder, right? Listen to this, very important. Understand 2 things. First level block, second level block. First level block is a zone, O-line coming up to you. You got to use your hands. First level block, you use your hands. Second level block will be a fullback or a puller is also considered second level block. That's when you can use your shoulder. But the one thing that he does wrong here, and if you guys are looking with me, the one thing that he does wrong is he's waiting on it. Like, you have to go to him. Like he's taking on the block. No, you have to go meet him. You have to kill the air. Go meet him and bring it. And then if you want, in that situation, this is a personal preference, you could also use your hands. That's personal preference. But here, especially thinking that he's probably going to spill, you just have to go violent. But you got to go meet him. He's meeting you right now. So that's the one mistake I would say. You see he's meeting him and he's making it harder for him to make a tackle and this guy get over the top. Overall, it's a good read by everyone else, right? And everyone did a good job. We got to be a little bit better at the mic position, just being more violent, I would say. And I don't think it's a problem with violence, but the path that he's taking right now, you have to come down. You have to come down. You have to come down, especially you just get the ball. I understand you're supposed to have contain, but you have to come down. Good job, number 8, number 7, get involved. Somebody come and get the ball. This is a good job. This is good work. Good understanding of the game too.